We need clarity about our goals. We need to know where we are going. We need to have vision.
Do we select a small number of areas? Again, you can't ever tell faculty, what they ought to do research on. I'm certainly not talking about that. But do we focus more in our strategic investments? And obviously some of that has happened over the last few years already. Do we narrow that further? Do we target that more? Do we say, listen, faculty members can do whatever they want, but as an institution, we know we're going to be really good in this area and in that area, because we can't do everything? Or are they, rather than saying it's an area like, sustainability in the urban environment, which is still a pretty broad topic, and public transportation, is it cross-cutting concepts? Bob and I were talking a little bit. Is it the notion of the integration, or is it the notion of moving to solutions, to applied work? So now we get to the question of where do we go from here? We've obviously been doing a lot. We are doing a lot. We've got a lot of things in place. But where do we really go next? We've come to a certain level of saying, all right, we need to think about how is it going to be different over the next 5 to 10 years. We got this big gift. We know we're going to have the resources in spite of the challenging fiscal times ahead. But it's also true that there are a lot of people doing things like this. There are a lot of institutions that talk about sustainability and that say they're going to be the world's greenest university or college or the world's most known whatever. And so we need to think about where can we really make the greatest contribution. I really appreciate your being here. I think this is the beginning of a discussion and a dialogue. And I think it is absolutely critically important in making sure, especially in this time of scarcity, that we absolutely maximize the resources which you represent here and all the colleagues who couldn't be here today.
The Institute for Sustainable Solutions is trying to build on all of the things that have already happened here at Portland State. And I think we're in a very good place in terms of sustainability and progress toward that goal, but we certainly have a long way to go. And with some recent investments, we're able, I think, to really move forward quite significantly and make investments in the right place. What we want to do is create a shared vision, though, of what that goal is. So this process of envisioning and thinking about where do we want to be in 10 or 20 or 30 years, and what would a really sustainable university look like? And that's why we're here today. We're trying to envision what a truly sustainable university would look like. We're trying to get input from the students and faculty and the rest of the community members on what that vision looks like, so we can better articulate it and so that we can help achieve it.
We are collecting feedback from community, staff, faculty, and students in order to determine what course of action we want to take to make PSU that sustainable university that it can be. In the past, we have had lots of initiatives on campus, and now today we are deciding how to come together and create very strategic goals. We just hired a new director, and this is his first chance to really get feedback from the community to decide what people want for PSU.
So instead of telling people what they want to talk about, we let them write their ideas on the board. We have a 30-minute period where people are just writing ideas, and then a few facilitators consolidate those ideas around specific themes like transportation or social justice. And then everyone who is interested in those areas congregates. So you have some larger groups, some smaller groups, but in general they're pretty charged individuals because they're really talking about what matters to them, what's on number one on their list, and that's really important in terms of building that trust within the group, but also within these individuals, allowing them the space to trust the process and to really give as much as they absolutely can. We're talking about our visions for a sustainable future, whether that future is a certain date, like 2030 or something, or if that's just some time in the future that we're trying to target and trying to really etch a picture of the community, this community that is Portland State University, and what it looks like at that time, how people interact with each other, how we treat each other, what we value, and really coming up with a picture that we don't just think is achievable, but a picture that we really want.
This vision is to ensure that we have an understanding of the connection between production and what we eat, and then we have the means, as many of you have been talking about, of making decisions about all of those pieces then that bring us back to much more of that connection.
I think that we're seeing in a societal way, a larger sense, how overconsumption, even though maybe it seems immediately good or beneficial, is not for anyone individually or collectively its best interest in the long term.
When you walk into a building, you should know your impact on being in that building. How much water are you using? How much energy is being used in that building? If you throw something away, what was the life cycle of that object? So giving people real-time feedback about their impact on campus will then empower them to make good decisions.
We talked about bike and rides and positioning them in strategic locations around the city, creating safer places to leave your bike, perhaps having a locker at school so you don't have to bring all your stuff with you, and maybe even a place where folks can take a shower if they wanted to when they get to campus.
I think it's about reconnecting the basic things that people value with the ways that we can actually get those things. It's about making people understand how every little thing that they deep down want, which is happiness, connectedness, love, whatever, can be fulfilled in ways that are seen now as a sacrifice, but really in the end bring good.
Secondly, that the university would create a body to maintain internal awareness of its own operations, which would give it a continuous process for maintaining coherence in the university and for creating change. And among the other things we could see that is in 3 months, have another one of these open spaces meetings.
So I would say my vision includes, it would be a university that's truly transdisciplinary, that can lead society, into a sustainable future that has a real engagement with the community, that teaches students how to actually solve problems on the ground and the complexities of coming up with real solutions.
For myself, I really see, as my vision, Portland State as being a place where people, they come to learn and to practice sustainability, but it's just the place, the hub, the nexus of a healthy community.
I think we can measure success as we go, and but the visioning process is something that needs to be revisited. It's not a one-time thing. So we need to have these kinds of events and to keep thinking about what our goals are for the future in an ongoing way. To me, that's the essence of what democracy should be about, is building a shared vision of our goals. And we can't achieve those goals until we've articulated them clearly. In fact, we can create a better world, I think, and a significantly better world, while at the same time making it more sustainable. So that picture is something that we have to paint more clearly and communicate more broadly if we hope to achieve it. So it's an ongoing process, but this is certainly one significant step in that process.